Hello. Welcome and click to watch. Subscribe my channel. If you like my channel, please make sure to subscribe, comment or leave a like in the video.
Lily sits outside, drawing on her notebook while waiting for her father, Nick, to pick her up. Some students pass by and mock her, calling her a bar baby for being raised in a bar. Fortunately or unfortunately, a drunken Nick arrives, crashing his car by the playground. With Lily bashfully entering the car, they set off for the bar to celebrate Lily's 13th birthday with her mother, Tammy. During the party, Lily opens her presents, and she's surprised to find a pistol as one of her gifts. The bar's patrons compliment Lily's gun as she curiously holds it. But Tammy cuts them off, and she tells Lily to hide it. To call Lily's upbringing unconventional is an understatement. She knows it, the kids know it, and that may be why Lily seems like a loner. And it's not like her dad's making a better case for her with his reckless drunk driving. Needless to say, this isn't how a 13-year-old should be living. Kids shouldn't be getting in cars with their drunken parents, and they shouldn't be getting pistols for their birthday. As the party goes on, Lily stays by the counter and looks at Nick with pity. Her mother's cursing him, calling him a loser, and Nick's not having any of it. He immediately leaves the bar, but Tammy and Lily follow him to his car. Outside, Tammy continues to curse at Nick, telling him that he's not going anywhere in his condition as he's drunk out of his mind. Suddenly, Lily's pulled along into their fight, and the girl stands between her parents as they quickly comes around and lets Lily inside her car. On the road, the two get acquainted as they share their stories with each other. Lily then mentions Eddie to Glenda, calling him a gunslinger kind of man. Hearing this, Glenda's mood drops, and she tells Lily to avoid those kinds of men. She then snorts some drugs while Lily watches. Noticing her, Glenda then offers her some. Lily reluctantly accepts, and she puts it towards her nose before she starts getting high, her surroundings growing wobbly. It's hard to fault Lily for the way she keeps trusting these strangers and the way she's easily nudged into getting high. In these situations, it's on the adults to at least get Lily off a seedy track, especially since Glenda was already warning her who to stay away from. But in the end, Lily is no one's responsibility. Later, the two pull over by a convenience store to rob it. Lily asks the store clerk for some candy, and when he gives her some, she suddenly starts faking a seizure. The store clerk immediately approaches Lily, and he looks at her with concern before he suddenly has a heart attack. He ends up falling on top of Lily, and she anxiously calls on Glenda to ask her what to do. In turn, Glenda steals the money from the cash register, then helps Lily pull the clerk off her. Though Glenda's said to head back, Lily insists that they have to help the clerk. Glenda tries shrugging her off, but Lily desperately convinces Glenda to call the ambulance. Eventually, the ambulance arrives to pick up the clerk before Glenda and Lily head out again. On the road, Lily nervously asks Glenda if it was her fault, but Glenda assures her that it wasn't before asking her to pray for the clerk, surprising Lily. After praying, Lily feels better, so she asks for some drugs, but Glenda tells her that she's out. For once, Lily seems to come to her senses after running away from home, but unfortunately, it quickly comes to an end as she starts embracing a new version of herself that's far from the sweet little girl she once was. Still, Lily maintains some of her sweetness, as she was adamant about helping the clerk. That night, the two park by a bowling alley before Glenda shares a secret with Lily, telling her to take control of her life. They then start putting on some makeup as they get ready for the bowling alley. Inside, Glenda introduces Lily to a little boy named Angel. Trying to get the kid excited, Glenda promises a gift for him, and she orders Lily to get a stuffed toy in the car. When Lily heads outside, Eddie suddenly greets her. She tries swaying him off, but Eddie tries redeeming himself by saying that they may have gotten off on the wrong foot. He then bids her goodbye before walking off, leaving Lily disgusted. Later, Glenda and Angel lead Lily to some trailers near the bowling alley, and Lily falls asleep on the couch. Glenda then calls Angel and tearfully apologizes to him, waking Lily as she listens to the two talk. With that, Lily's first day as a runaway comes to an end. People tend to resent the monotony of everyday life, and for good reason. But the life that Lily's forging for herself is one that's shrouded in danger, unpredictability, and instability. That's just the price you pay when you decide to take control of your life and escape the template that conventions have laid out for you.